Hello, chat. Hello, chat members. I've got a coffee. I have thoughts. I have thoughts. Oops. Hold on. I need to get some air in here. Nope, it is hot out. Oh my goodness, it is hot out. This has been like the hottest summer of my life, I think. Hello, hello. What is that symbol? What does this mean? What's the, what is the, what's the crown? What's the purple crown in the chat? What does that mean? I've never seen this before. George, Mr. Hart. Now I gotta change it to something. Some more optimistic Vinland Saga music. We're going through all the. I have a lot of thoughts. I really have a lot. Want to get. I mean, there's a banger. There's a banger. I'm gonna give a little bit more time for people to get in if they want to. Let me actually put it in the Discord. I don't think I usually put stream stuff in the Discord. How do I feel about this? How do I feel about this ending? How does okay, I want to hear what people think about the end before I really get into mine. One of my top 3 stories is over. Miss your chapter breakdowns. I'm gonna miss doing chapter breakdowns. I have one more left, and like, I have a lot to say about this one, and I'm still. This is the first time I'm doing a stream before I do the review, because usually I like to take my time to gather my thoughts before I share them. But I don't know. Today is like this is like an event, so I wanna be here for it. But I'm still in the middle of processing this chapter. But I mean, this is like a top. This is top 1 story for me. I mean, the Vinland Saga is so special to me, and I can't believe it's over. It feels like it hasn't ended. Like, I feel like I haven't accepted it yet, you know? And I haven't cried. I was crying yesterday doing a reread of everything else, but I didn't cry for this chapter. I had emotions, of course, and I felt. I don't know. I think I just need time to think about it. Final chapter was alright. Could have been better, but overall ending arc was great. I kind of agree. I think this chapter was better than alright. It was subtle, and it was simple. So it wasn't like mind-blowing. But it took an angle I didn't expect, and I actually really, really loved it. I loved the angle it went, and I'll talk about that more once we get more people in here. I think the ending could have given us more lore, but it was thematically perfect for the story. Yeah, I totally agree. I think last chapter, like, that was the thematic end of the story. There kind of wasn't much left to do, unless you wanted to just, like, spend time talking about, you know, where characters went and giving a bit more closure on how things continue. But That's almost anti-thematic, though, actually. The more I think about it, maybe I'm just coping, but, like, this whole story, or at least, especially this final arc, is focused on, like, you know, you don't know the future until it happens, right? So, leaving everybody on an extremely open ending, I mean, you can still gauge from history, you know, what happens from here, but it is intentionally a very open-ended ending where you're left to either hope for something better or expect the worst. And I think that makes a lot of sense. I love Vinland. This chapter is not a real end, it's a start, it's a beginning. Yes, I totally agree. That is the whole point of leaving it open. Like, you can't tie a neat bow on it. That would kind of be against the themes, I feel. Bro, I'm from India. The end is absolutely amazing and beautiful because the whole story follows. This end is suitable for Vinland Saga. Yes, because of what the whole story follows. Yes, I totally agree. I totally agree with you. And awesome, watching from India. Sick. I think it's so cool that I have people around the world watching my streams and my videos. That is lovely. When the narrator asked what Thorfinn did it all for, and we get the 2 pages of his family and newborn child. Beautiful. Yeah, I think that's literally my favorite part. Because, alright, you know what? We're already getting into the chapter, so I'm going to just switch to, I think this one. Yeah, here we go. Okay, yeah, so this is, like, probably my favorite thing in the whole chapter. Probably. We'll talk about that later. So, because this, I feel like, answers the question to me, why did Yukimura choose to write about Thorfinn Karlsefni? And I think this is it. He looked at the fact that this merchant trader went to North America, took a big risk, went to the New World to be a pioneer. And why? Why would somebody do that? And there's no particular word to describe it. This is why. It's something to protect. You know? It's wanting something better. I think this is incredible. Because I feel like this really just, again, sheds light on why Yukimura wrote about Thorfinn. Why he heard this history and was like, I need to write a story about this. I think this chapter is actually deep, like with Kevki not letting go of the sword and Polmak trying to farm. Yeah, I was hoping we would get some, like, definitive outcome for the sword. I did not think Thorfinn was gonna, like, demand that it's broken or something like that. I think him giving a word of caution to Kevki was pretty much exactly what Thorfinn would have done. People wanted him to go and break the sword, and I just don't think that would escalate things, and he doesn't want to do that at all. But it's also, like, we don't see, like, a flash forward to find out, like, it breaks later, or to see, like, Kauki getting his comeuppance for having it. It's just a word of warning that you're being left on, and that's okay. Italy here. Italy, that's awesome. Wait till you find out Australians. Oh my god, Kyle, Ordinate bro. I got the whole gang here. That's incredible. Wait until you find out Australians. Watch some Australia. It was the final chapter. It was the final chapter of Vinland Saga. It very much was. And that's about... That was my first reaction, for sure. I was like... Yeah, that's the end of Vinland Saga. New Zealand, let's go. New Zealand and Australia. That's so sick. No Gudrid dialogue. Don't get me started. Like, you know, this is the perfect summary of Gudrid's role in the final arc. She is off on the side, Because Thorfinn's having a baby, guys. Okay, I have 2 complaints then. I have 2 complaints. That's complaint number 1, but that complaint's been going. Where can you read the final chapter? Oh my god, don't look at the stream. Go to comic.io. Go there. Don't look at my stream, please. Oh my god, don't look at that page. Well, I guess, whatever. You know he had a baby. See, that's the thing about this ending. That's the thing about this last chapter, right? It doesn't tell you anything new. I think some people wanted to hear something new, but its last chapter was, like, the end, really. There was one development. Alright, I want to go from the start. So, I mean, of course, calling the chapter Somewhere Not Here, I can't believe I didn't anticipate this. I think somebody did mention it on the bingo stream. Oh yeah, we'll go over the bingo board too. So I think we got great engagement. Oh yeah, we'll talk about it, Kyle. We'll get there. I think somebody mentioned on the bingo stream that they think the chapter would be called Somewhere Not Here, and I didn't think that would be the case because we already have a chapter named that. But then I read the translation notes, and it all clicked, because I don't know if everyone here got to see the translation notes, but basically when Yukimura is writing the like words spoken by the Ilnu, he uses, I think it's, what does he use? Katakana instead of hiragana? Was that the... Hold on, let me get to the note again. Yes, it's written in katakana, which is used for foreign words. So basically, this is, if chapter 2 is the Norse saying somewhere not here, seeking somewhere not here, this final chapter, this final chapter title is the Ilnu sharing that same sentiment. It is unifying the two. And I think that is absolutely beautiful. That is such an incredible detail. There's actually so much I like about this chapter. I was being a little doomer before because there's some things I don't like, but alright, let's continue. So, Polmuk. This is so good. This is so good. He wanted to learn how to plant wheat, and damn it, he's gonna do it. Passing it on, man. It's so beautiful. I think it's so good. And I love how Thorfinn really does try to speak the language. And this is like the first time that Polmuk really makes an effort to speak it back. He's saying, oh my god, saying, thank you, friend. It's so good. I really love that. Well, I love this. Till we meet again. I don't know, man. I think I expected a lot more of an emotional outburst from Misekwe, but he kind of remains very reserved until the end. But still, this is a very good... The handshake again, the callback to the handshake, that's the point of the chapter. You're not that late, Sophie. We just really started talking about it. Did Thorfinn achieve Vinland? So, okay, here I have a lot of thoughts on that, actually, because what I feel like this chapter is doing is it's kind of a it's kind of the opposite of last chapter. If chapter 219 was about what went wrong and what do we need to do differently, this chapter is all about just what went right. Look at the things that actually went right here. Was this a failure? Just because they had to leave, just because there was violence, what was it? Should you write it off as a failure? And I think this chapter is to say no. I don't think Thorfinn achieved Vinland, because Vinland was a dream. You know, it didn't have. There were ideas that Vinland was dependent on that didn't really reflect reality. Like that this place was a place without war already. Or that the things that cause war are things we are able to run away from. That there's like a blank slate out there. Because it really, that's just not the case. So he didn't get that dream like Vinland, but still things, there were things that worked, things that went well, and it almost somehow this chapter manages to come back around and make me feel like we didn't really fail, and I think that's awesome. I think it's incredible. Okay, all right, this is really good. I love this. So, like I said before, no, I think I said it on Twitter. I was expecting some big resolution for the sword, but we kind of just got something open-ended. It is a warning to. It's just a final warning, pretty much. And I think that is all you really need. I think that's all you need. And he raises the sword. He's not going to throw it away. And that's that. It doesn't need to be destroyed. I kind of thought we would show what comes of the sword. But this is okay too. This is perfectly fine. I have no complaint about this part. Okay, so I did have cracked double page spread in my notes. I mean, my bingo board, and I don't think this is that. It went 2 pages, though. Oh, I didn't think he would die at, like, I don't know, at this point in time, but I thought we might fast forward a bit as we're, like, kind of showing a where did everyone go, and he would be one character who kind of gets a bit of a karmic retribution later, but that's not the case at all, and I think that's alright. Do kind of wish we got the flash forward. So, yeah. So, here, yeah, just because it didn't happen doesn't mean it's bad. Exactly my thoughts, because with the flash forward to 1,000 years later, I had become so, like, gung-ho that had to happen, that I'm almost kind of glad it went for a different angle. It went for something a bit more personal to Thorfinn's journey and what happened in Vinland, rather than, you know, jumping way beyond him. And I didn't expect that angle, and I think I'm just glad Yukimura could surprise me one more time. You know? I'm just glad. Alright. So, so this. I don't know if I'm going to upload my read-through reaction for this chapter, because it really wasn't anything notable. But I really spent like half of that recording going, oh, because of this. This is the one problem to me. There are things I wanted to see, like the time skip, like Canute and Thorka one more time, and other characters that I wanted to see. there's things I wish we saw, but those weren't necessary. So I'm not mad or upset that they weren't there. This, though, this really put a sour note on things, but there's also good here. So let me try to... My reaction really is not anything noteworthy. It's just me reading the first few pages, going like, oh, that's great, and then reading this and going, oh no, and then reading the last few pages and going, oh, this is great. See, yeah, she looks like a baby. He drew her here even younger than he usually draws her. God damn it. Okay, alright, so my full thoughts, now that we know definitively that Bug Eyes is not beating the allegations, now that there's no more room to go, well, we know for sure, let's talk about it. I've been saying, I think it is actually just really, really great for Bug Eyes to have an arc about coming to develop a sincere connection and kind of breaking past his kind of very insincere pessimistic shell. Like, to have Bug Eyes be coming out of this extremely hopeful is really, really great. And this too, call me if you ever need an interpreter. For him to go, don't rely on me for anything, to call on me if you ever need me. That is wonderful. That is such a good conclusion to his character arc. But so everything about it in that sense is really, really good. So why is she 16, man? I mean, I know people are gonna say for the time. Yes, it is not that strange for a man Bug Eyes' age, 27, 28, to marry a girl 10 years younger than him. For that time, yeah, fine. But since when has Vinland Saga been I'm okay with this. Since when has Vinland Saga been comfortable with allowing, how do I put it, with forfeiting to the fact that something wasn't seen as bad before, but it's seen as bad now? You know? Vinland Saga has always been very modern, it just had very modern sensibilities. And that's kind of a big part of how the story is written. So the fact this is brought here in complete sincerity, and it just feels weird. I know age of consent laws are probably different in Japan. I don't know for sure. If I remember correctly, it's 16 in Japan, but I don't know for sure. But either way, he's 10 years older than her. Even if she was legal, I think it would still feel weird to me. It would still feel weird, especially if she's drawn like this. Yukimura could have just made her older. Make her 17 when she's introduced. 2 years pass. Let her be 20, and I'd feel a little bit better. But she was 15 when we first meet her, and then 2 years happen in Vinland. So she's 17, basically. I think she's 17. 16 or 17, it's one of the two. So it just feels a little tone deaf, and I almost expected Yukimura to I don't know, kind of make a point of this, right? I almost expected him to have Bug Eyes come to a very mature conclusion about how, like, that's not the nature of their relation. I don't know, man. And she has come to look and act older in the 2 years. Like, during the 1,000-Year Voyage stuff, I'd say she was acting more of an adult, but here she's certainly not drawn like one. So, yeah, my conclusion to it, Bug Eyes did not beat the allegation. I like the thematic ideas going on with Bug Eyes, but this feels weird, and it was kind of a big sour note for me, unfortunately. It would have been cool if there was like a flash forward with a sword somehow causes into war, and the Wheat Thorfinn... And the Wheat Thorfinn gave him a huge falling like a bill. I really think it would have gone against what the chapter was trying to do if you went beyond that Polmuk panel to show where things go, because it's Yukimura wants us to share in the optimism for the future these characters are feeling, and didn't really want to take away from that, rather than kind of sacrificing their optimism for the future for the sake of focusing more on ours. And I think that's okay. I think I actually quite like that, because it feels like it has a lot of heart for the characters. Mikasa Kaiser, hello, welcome. It's a huge reason why it bothers me so much, my anti-war and anti-slavery manga throwing in some pedo nonsense. I know. It's, I want to interview this man so bad. I need to know. He probably would dodge that question. He probably would dodge that question. I don't know, he's sincere. He would probably say something. Probably would say something about, yeah, for the time. Just, like, wasn't acknowledged, though. It almost feels a little, like, comedic to me. Like, it almost like a little bit of a dark comedy kind of thing. Like, you've come to know and love these characters for how sensible they are to modern standards, but this ending reminds you that these are people of the past with different values. I wonder if that was the intent, but I don't think it was. This was too optimistic for that, I feel. Can you tell a quick purpose of this ending? Yeah, so I mentioned this earlier in the stream. If last chapter was about what went wrong and what needs to be done better, this chapter is completely focused on what worked. What makes it a failure if this came out of it. You know? These two groups of people sharing the same wish and desire for something better, that, you know, they're not intrinsically incompatible, these two groups. I think that's the whole point, that there was a success here, and in a way it didn't really fail. Some aspects failed, some aspects succeeded, and it's okay to look at the good things. And I think I love that. Thorfinn character conclusion was way better than Eren. I agree. I mean, Eren's a tragic character in a story that got very convoluted. Vinland Saga is not convoluted at all. It has depth and complexity to the characters, but it's not convoluted. So it is very, very easy to give Thorfinn a good ending. You know, to give him a good conclusion. Doesn't that sort of contradict Niska and Bug Eye's last words to the Nords? Let me see. What do you mean? Well, okay. Yes, kind of. Just because Bug Eyes is saying it, and maybe it is true right now, like, obviously tensions are still there. I'm not saying that tensions don't still exist in Vinland. It's more that these two groups are not inherently incompatible, because that was that was like the big detracting statement that people had for this when they look back and think, why did the settlement of Vinland not work? It's often summed up as cultural difference, and that's it. And if this chapter wants to find the common humanity in the two groups, and I feel that is the focus. So I don't think it contradicts to say that yes, there are high tensions right now, because they literally were just fighting, but that doesn't mean it could never be done, you know? I hate that Niska is the only native girl in the story. Yeah, the number of native characters is actually pretty slim. Because we have what? Misekbekwe, Polamuk, Niska, and Chief Kipui. So they're our initial batch, and then we get two more with Muin and Gaoki. And then the rest are just, you know, they're just background characters. And there are some women in there, but I think it's more a problem to me. Not a problem. I more just wish there was a wider new cast. But everybody had a very, like, clear purpose, so I don't hate it. I don't think there was, like, a character dynamic missing from the new cast. But, yeah, obviously, Niska being the only girl on the new side, and having her arc be about coming to marry a man 10 years her senior. Yeah, it sits poorly. It's very easy for Eren too. Pre-139 had a clearer goal and motive. He just contradicts himself in the last chapter. I don't know. I feel like the last chapter of AOT was pretty good. It felt like a pretty natural resolution for everything that had happened before it. It was just kind of the end of Attack on Titan. And I don't think he contradicts himself as much as his motivations are contradicting. And he has a lot of wants and needs that he can't let go of. And that's what makes him Eren. Not to make this an AOT stream, but that's my perspective. I don't hate Attack on Titan's ending. I'm actually fine with us not seeing Iceland, Thorfinn's family, Thor's, Askeladd, Halfdan. Feels like Sailing West was the end of all that. Yeah, I had it on my bingo board because I mostly wanted to see characters again because I love these characters. And especially with Halfdan, I also wanted to see what comes of Cordelia Thorfinn in regards to, like, how Halfdan has to kind of collect. But maybe Sigurd is just in charge and he's gonna be understanding, you know? Halfdan might be dead, you know? It's an extremely open-ended ending. I didn't think it would be that open-ended for the characters as much as it is, as I thought it would be a bit more open-ended for humanity as a whole, but they're getting the same hopefulness that we got, and I think that's kind of great. I think that's awesome. But yeah, any character cameo that I wanted really wasn't needed. That's okay. It wasn't like the story was thematically incomplete by not doing that. I do appreciate he didn't bring her back to Greenland to live like a Nord. I do like that. And I think the conclusion of let's go somewhere not here is actually really, really, really good. I think that's actually awesome. So There's so much good about this. There's just literally the one problem. It's a shame. Maybe bonus pages? Yeah. Oh, no, let me read this one first. They focus too much on Bug Eyes. I do think 5 pages to Bug Eyes was unnecessary, but I do think the culmination of this page is worth it. So I'm not complaining. I think this is a really good page. And I love this narration. We'll talk about that. Okay, so, a bit weird we didn't see any of it. I would have liked Yukimura to address people's complaints before. Yeah, I see. I guess you have to kind of decide. Well, you have to kind of imagine. Do you want to imagine a world where Thorfinn goes back to Iceland and he gets sued and he loses all of his funding and he has to just retire permanently? Or do you believe, in a way, maybe he'll work it out? Maybe he'll work it out. Maybe it'll be alright. I think that's okay. I actually kind of like that we have that option. How you pronounce the old new people name. I have just gotten a lot of practice. Farewell, Vinland Saga. The ending is so vagabond-esque to me. The journey is what mattered, not the finale. I can see where you're coming from with that. But I do think the finale did matter. In terms of, it really wants you to, again, last chapter was like, look at the result in a very analytical sense of like correcting the experiment, whereas this chapter was look at the result as in look at what we achieved, and I think that's really, really great. When I recommend the manga to my native friends, I have to put a disclaimer. Yeah. Polmuk and Misek are gonna be so confused. Where's Niska? True, yeah, they probably think she just disappeared. True. How far did they get? I do think it's cute that we had one more stowaway kind of thing. They got pretty far. Yeah, they literally have no idea. That's crazy. I mean, maybe they'll figure it out. I hope so. There could have been more episodes since too much is skipped. I understand the theme Yukimura was going for, but we didn't have much resolution. What do you feel still needed to be covered? I'm curious, because to me I kind of felt like everything that needed to be said was said. Everything I wish was said at this point is just like things that would have been nice. And I kind of like that we went for a bit more of a simple approach, because it really is a simple sentiment, just that we are these two people are just people. They're just one human people. I just read that. I do think there probably could have been more chapters, but I don't think the story feels incomplete to me. So can't pronounce. Okay, so here's how you say it. It's actually pretty. He's the easiest one besides Niska. It's literally you sound it out. Misk weke pue. It's pretty. I think it's pretty straightforward. I don't know. I'm white. I'm a white American, but from how I have sounded out these names before, Miskwekapue. I kind of say it a little fast, Miskwekapue. But either way, that's pretty. Like, it's pretty much it. I mean, poem looks easy. You know what? Okay, you know what? Most of them are easy. Honestly, Gauki is the hardest one, because because his name before was Gauki and now it is something completely different. Gauki or Ku. I don't know. But I do think it's kind of cute that it's kind of like a caca, you know, like because he's got the crow aesthetic going on. I think that's funny. Miss Quek e Tue. That's also probably right. I probably put the enunciations in the wrong places. But it all kind of comes together the way you would hope. And then Muin's easy. I don't know why I said he's the easiest one. It's really just... Final pages of Polmuk, farming, crops, is definitely an ode to Anar. I mean, it's an ode to Vinland Saga. It is an ode to the series' long history. But there is, like... And it probably an exact panel in the farm arc of the hand in that exact way, I'm pretty sure. Started reading 2 summers ago. I started reading in 2019, so it has been... We're coming up on, what, 6 years? At the end of the year, it'll have been 6 years, which is crazy. Pretty hopeful ending coming from a hopeful manga and author. I should have seen that coming. I knew it would be a hopeful ending. That was my call out way at the start of the arc. That it's going to end hopeful. I just did not think the characters would have the... I didn't think the characters would be able to see it themselves. And I think that's... It's nice that they did. I'm black, that's why I can't do pronunciation. Okay. Hey, if I can manage, I think you can manage. Don't limit yourself. At least 2 ways to pronounce it too. Of course there is. I need to hear Yukimura say these names. Someone's got to interview this man. Someone's got to interview this man. What does the bird represent? I mean, the birds have always represented the desire to have the freedom to go somewhere else. You know, you have the tern. The feathered tern is a migratory bird that has been locked down and can't travel as its nature demands of it. And I think Yukimura just kind of thinks humanity is very akin to that. I think the bird's Anar. The bird, Anar turned into a dove. Can't believe it ended. I can't believe it either. It's still kind of surreal to me. Mainly here, Goha Ho. Hok or Hoch? Gahak. I have no clue. I have no clue. Final boss of hard pronunciations. Yawak? Isn't it just Yawak? I thought it was just Yawak. I have never read Bleach. I've just heard people talk about it. Baha? What? Nah, I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it. More hopeful than I was kind of expecting. I mean, I thought the hopefulness would be mainly for us and not the characters. Yeah, exactly. I'm glad they got to share it with us. It makes me... I was worried this ending would feel so disconnected from them, but it really wasn't that way at all, and I am really happy. I mean, I've been reading this manga from grade 6 to grade 9. Wow, grade 6. I wish I read Vinland Saga as young as you did. I don't know if it would have... I feel like I don't know, part of me feels like I read Vinland Saga at the perfect time. For me, like, I was kind of in the middle of college, and I was really trying to figure myself out, and I was really going through things that were really difficult to me. And I feel like I'm now at the end of Vinland Saga with, like, I feel like I know myself now. I really do feel like I grew with the story. And that is so special to me. And I can't imagine what it would have been like to read if I was reading that, like in grade 6. How old would I have been? Crap, I don't actually know. Hold on. Okay, so I would have been like 12, right? If I started reading when I was like 11 or 12, I would have been reading for over 10 years. I would have been reading for like 15 years. So where was the story at in 2010? Because I would have been reading from there. It's probably in the farm arc. I don't know. I wish I got on this story earlier, but I got on at a very good time for me, so I'm pretty happy about that. Favorite panel in this chapter? Mine is the last one with the hand touching the grass. There's so many good ones. Okay, I could go a bunch of ways. It could be the handshake. I think that's quite good. It could be somewhere not here. And it very well could be this. Very well could be this. That's the thing. I totally agree. Sorry. And then this. I mean, these are all brilliant pages. So, I'm good. You can take your pick. Anar becomes dove crying. Yeah, true. We still have to wait for the anime. I can't. Honestly, this is going to feel great to watch in the anime. Because it'll probably be chapter 219 and 220 together. And I think these chapters really do come in a pair. Oh my god, dude. Yeah, no, dude, literally, they are a pair. Because you have the chapter of 219, again and again, somewhere not here. Again and again, that feeling. That desire. You raise it again and again. These, yeah, this is good. This is real good. This is real good. Just finished reading the last chapter. Thank you so much for the link. I hope you liked the chapter. I really do. Audio clips of pronunciation link. Did you send the link in, did you send it in, did you try to send it in the chat here? Because I wouldn't be able to see it. Send it to me on Twitter. Just DM me. I think YouTube hides links. I also think if I started reading at 12, I would have had dumb opinions though. I think, again, perfect timing for me. Where do you read the chapter? Go to comic.io. And stop looking at the stream! Go to comic.io and do not look at this! Don't look! For the whole manga, what's your favorite panel? The whole manga. There's a lot of toss-ups, and I'm gonna have to go through it. But my mind, when I think what's my favorite panel, my mind kind of always goes back to chapter 188, Hild in the forest, that was long ago panel. I just really loved that one. And I just love that chapter. It's just such a quiet chapter. Such a personal chapter. I love it. But there's a lot of good ones in this chapter. Part of me really wanted to see Canute one last time, but I wasn't expecting it. I was kind of expecting it. I actually really was expecting it, and I'm kind of surprised. But again, not needed. Well, I don't know. I feel like chapter, what was it? Was it 202? Whatever chapter that had Canute in it. I feel like that didn't feel like a conclusion for him. But I guess no one really concluded. That chapter, to me, I was hoping there would be one more follow-up to that with Canute. But ultimately, what that chapter is saying is Canute is kind of becoming a bit... I don't know. Canute is starting to feel like his methods are not the right way. Well, I don't think he's giving up, but he's starting to become kind of disillusioned with the idea that his continued violence is going to eventually reach paradise. It feels like just a last moment for him to show this will keep going, and his method is not going to cause a peace that is lasting. The day 191 gets animated, I'll be crying my eyes out for hours. I most definitely will. See, I didn't cry about this chapter. I really wanted to cry about this chapter, but I didn't. And I wish I did. I think I cried about 219 after reading it. Like, when I was writing about it for the video, that's when I cried about 219. And that's when I came to really love 219. So I think I'll have a very similar progression for this chapter. Lack of conclusion for characters outside of the main cast. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't put that as a criticism, personally, because I feel like, you know, all you would really be doing is hopping around with narration, showing a bunch of characters again, just so you can feel like things are a bit more conclusive. Everybody kind of ended appropriately already. It would kind of just be a restatement of things, which I would have liked still, but yeah. That's the thing, there are some things that we didn't need to see, but it still feels weird we didn't see them, like Canute. Yeah. Do you know the manga Blue Box? I've heard of it. I don't know anything about it. Canute's story was pretty much resolved in chapter 99. Yeah, exactly. He's mainly a backdrop, not only for the political climate, but he's just a thematic mirror. When Yukimura wants to pose some question that's important to the main story and wants it to feel grand, he'll bring Canute in for it, and that's good, because his path is still happening in parallel. It's just that this story is not interested in his path. It doesn't believe in his path, and that's okay to me. Oh my god, no Vargar! You're right! Where is Vargar? Oh, because he was already on the evacuation island, I think. Well, no, he came back with the boats. Yeah, I mean, I still don't understand the point of Vargar. I feel like he was only there to give the Norse a fighting chance, so the war can come to a stalemate. I don't think Vargar, I don't know, he didn't, and he had good moments, but he wasn't like a classic Vinland Saga character where they have a very clear purpose. He is just kind of, he's there and has some good thematic tie-ins, and that's about it. But I would have expected to maybe see him. But I love this closing monologue. The Saga of the Greenlanders, a 13th century manuscript, describes 6 voyages of Europeans to the land in North America they called Vinland. Thorfinn Karlsefni's settlement project was the 5th of these, and seems to have been the largest one. Why did these adventurers travel to the ends of the earth? For the Icelandic trader Thorfinn Karlsefni, it would be more natural to turn to continental Europe in search of wealth. He could also have made a name for himself by going Viking. But he chose to go pioneering in the New World. Why? To what end? This is going to be such a good page turn, man. Oh, wait. I don't think it is a page turn. Because the right side is the margin. Wait, no. It would be a page turn, right? Are these going to be on one page? Oh my god, I don't think they are. Yeah, these aren't going to be on one page. I would have kind of wanted that. So, okay. Because the right side is the page margin. So then these 2 pages are... Okay, yes, good. No. I don't know. We'll see in the volume release. I would hope these 2 are side by side. I would hope this is a page turn just for these 2 to be side by side. I think that would be perfect. I can't believe, though, the baby was not named. This whole time. We're like... What's he gonna name the baby? Will it be Snorri? Will they go historical and name him Anar? But no, he's just baby. Is Thorkel still enjoying fighting? He probably is. I think he will do that till the end of his days, and he will never really know why he feels unfulfilled. You know, we got cute Pulmuk scenes, and Kalki got everything he wanted, and a cool new outfit, so I'm okay. True. Wait. Hold on. Okay, never mind. I thought for a minute that was Thorfinn's cloak. His new black cloak. The baby was confirmed a boy, I believe. I think. Thorkel should join the UFC or WWE. Yeah, I think that's where he would actually love WWE because it's theater and he's a dramatic man. He would love it. Vinland sequel about Freydis, please, please. I don't think we will get bonus material in the volume or like an additional epilogue. I think it is done. But it would be cool. The sword, yeah, can create a new story. I mean, I would love to see what happens to them, but it's definitely Yukimura wants to leave it open-ended and hopeful. Even for Gauki, he gets some hope. We get some hope that maybe he will come to understand and throw it away. So that's kind of nice. I don't know. I thought if anybody was going to get a like confirmed doomed ending, it would be him. I really thought we would see Thorfinn's death, though. I did not think he would die in Vinland, but I thought the story would see him die later on. Just show him dying like of age or sickness or something like that. I really thought we would see him die, and I'm kind of glad we didn't. Felt peaceful with the ideal ending. Yeah, I agree. Why do so many people want a Thorkel appearance? To me, The idea is that it's just that Thorkel's like a fan favorite, important character. You know, just these characters that were so important to the foundation of the story are now no longer really a part of it. And that's kind of sad, but that's life, unfortunately. Vinland Saga ended. He literally ended yesterday. Today. Did the baby... Oh, yeah, we read that. I didn't expect an ending with many characters. I'm actually glad they didn't continue any further. It just would go wrong and misguided if it continues anymore. I do think this was where it should end. I do agree. Maybe I just assumed it was a boy. Yeah, the baby's name doesn't really matter for the story. Because, yeah, if he goes with history and the baby's name is Snorri, he hasn't really given Vinland's, like, he hasn't given Thorfinn a real reason. You know? He hasn't really given Thorfinn a reason to name his baby Snorri, right? But that's history. I wonder if he didn't, because he almost wants you to hope against history. Not like hope the baby has a different name, because that's not really a problem. But I almost feel like he wants you to hope that, I don't know. Like, he wants you to hope that there's better. That it doesn't have to follow history, that Thorfinn's life can go better. I don't know. Either way, yeah, the name of the baby doesn't exactly matter. I do think Thorfinn would rock as a girl dad. That is true. Need to go. Did you like it or not? I wasn't a huge fan. I actually did like it, and the more I talk about it, the more I'm coming to like it more. The more I'm coming to like it more. Brilliant. I think it's going to just continue to grow on me, especially when I have it physically in the final manga release, final volume. Epilogue of Vinland Saga is called Orb on the Movements of the Earth. So true. I love Orb. Orb is so good. Anime will most likely expand on the ending to make it feel more dramatic. Yes, they do love to make it feel more dramatic. But I don't know. I think I would hope that they don't make any choices that go against the thematic idea that this chapter is going for. That's all. I'm happy at least one of the big three seinen manga is... That is a good point. This is the first of the usual big three of seinen manga to end. And they probably... The others may not ever. Berserk's definitely heading there, but it's going to be a long time. Yes, let's do it, man. I love it. Gauki sequel, yeah, man. Hell yeah. I need a season 3 announcement. Oh god, there's no more Vinland Saga coming. There's no more Vinland Saga manga coming. That's upsetting. I want Thorkel because he said he would duel Thorfinn. Yeah. I mean, I don't think that was ever happening. I never thought that Thorfinn was going to see him again. I did not think that at all. I just thought we might get a little look at him. Just so where's he at? Britain Saga. Hell yes. How would you rank the arcs? I just did a full reread of the entire story leading up to this chapter. I really do think the Vinland arc is the best one. I would go Vinland arc, Farm arc, Prologue Eastern Expedition is such a toss-up to me. It feels wrong for both to be at the bottom. I don't know which I would put over the other. They both have these things that I really truly love about them, and I think they do exceptionally well. But they are also not. They are just simply not my favorite parts of the story. Is my audio messed up? What's wrong with it? Oh, is the mic like cracking? Because it might be because I'm like peaking. Let me know if this is better. I think maybe it was just peaking too much. Maybe like this. Or like this. Alright, I think this is good. This is probably fine. Let me know if this is better. I have noticed in the stream VODs that the mic sounds like it's kind of cracking every so often, and I don't quite know why. But it's fine when I record videos. It's weird. With how many good anime/manga have terrible endings, it feels great when an incredible series has a great ending. Yes, I think Vinland Saga was always on the track for like just a solid ending. Turn it up a little bit. Okay, 1 second. I think it was just always on track for a super solid ending. It is exactly what it needed to be. Alright, how is this audio now? Sorry. Maybe I overcorrected a little too much. I don't know. How is that? I'm just disappointed with Bug Eyes. I might have to turn the gain up on my mic. Audio's good. Okay. Cool. Okay, where were we? Oh yeah, I think this was such a Vinland Saga is not. It's a difficult story to end in terms of how do I communicate this right, but I don't think it's a difficult story to end as in how do, like, you're not left scratching your head wondering how this could wrap up. It has already wrapped up quite nicely, even before this chapter. I do totally agree. Prologue is better written, but Eastern Expedition is very entertaining. Yeah, I just really love what Eastern Expedition tries to do. And I love Better Turn, Hunter and the Hunted, and I think Baltic Sea War is really, really fun. I love Sigurd. I don't look at the prologue and think like, oh, I love these characters. I like Askeladd a lot. But I don't love prologue characters like I love Eastern Expedition characters. I don't hope we get a Bug Eyes spin-off. I'm good. Askeladd does carry the prologue, for sure. I guess I like Bjorn. I think Bjorn is great. But, again, I don't think about prologue characters the way I think about Farm and Beyond characters. And I feel like that's an important part for me. Should I bring up the... Hold on. Didn't I make... Did I make a volumes tier list? I totally thought I did. Hold on. I'm gonna bring up the volumes tier list again. Now that I want to kind of review that. I need to look here. Oh, it's so hard to find a past tweet. Because I need to find I need to find the volume tier list that I did. I want to see the tier list maker. Here we go. Oh, do I go back and do the character tier list again? I do need to do a new character tier list, don't I? It's a little outdated, this character tier list, though. That's the problem. Oh, good heavens. Tier maker just murdered my computer. Oh, man. They're killing so many websites, man. It's so sad. Like, so many websites are straight up unusable now. Alright, I'm just gonna bring up the picture instead. So this was my volume ranking. Wow, that quality is terrible. This was my volume ranking. Alright, let me catch up on chat. Finding, yeah, I actually really love the arc. I mean, Sailing West is part of the Vinland arc, ultimately. And I really do love it. I do think the series never reached the heights of Askeladd as a single character antagonist. But it kind of never... I'd say Canute comes close. And then after that... most arcs don't have a one single antagonist. Okay. So, this was my volume tier list, right? I don't think there's a single bad volume. I think volume 29 would go... I think volume 29 would go between 26 and 14. I do think this is one of the best parts of the story. Just completely. Everything from... what? 210 onward is the ending, and it's brilliant. It is brilliant. Literally, Bug Eyes is the one problem I got. Man, why did he do it? Why did he do it? Sad. Yeah, this is completely ordered. I need to go back. I don't know. All I remember for sure is that I felt like C was a really weak volume. It's just like in the middle of Baltic before everything really. It's like after the setup of Baltic, but before Battle of Jomsburg. So it's just a little kind of meh. Man, okay. I'm going to talk about this part real quick. I love this to what end part. This is so, so good. Because it's just so beautiful. Okay, this is where I talk about Gudrid, though. I think I mentioned it before. This sums up Gudrid. Just off to the side while Thorfinn focuses on his baby. You know, Gudrid did not have a character arc. It's so sad. I think, looking back, like, Gudrid had her personal conclusion as a character, like, chapter 176, I believe. No, 77. Here. This was the end for Gudrid. She saw the world. She's good. Every book is minimum A tier. So this is a relative scale. Sorry, I had to cough there for a second. This is all relative. All of Vinland Saga is not below an A tier, or honestly probably S tier story. There's no bad volume. But if you're ranking the volumes of a story in terms of how they rank against each other, you know, something's gonna have to be at the bottom, something's gonna have to be at the top. What chapters are volume 26? It's the chapters from when Polemuk and the rest of the Kipui tribe first show up in the village, all the way up to Hild forgiving Thorfinn. Banger, like a complete banger section of the story. .209 and 210 were probably my favorite chapters in Thousand Year Voyage. 210 is so good, man. I really love 210. Just this whole last volume is phenomenal. I don't think there is a way for Gudrid to be handled better in the anime, because they would have to write a whole character arc for her. There is just nothing to give her. Because, like, I don't know, you can't just add a couple of scenes of her existing and make it feel better. It really is just, what purpose did she have in Vinland besides having this baby? Unfortunately, I don't think any. And it's kind of like she doesn't have anything in this arc that feels like it belongs to her. It feels like she belongs to Thorfinn. And I think that's a shame for a character like her. With her arc, her introduction arc going the way it did. Characters like Gudrid and Hild have their arcs done, but Thousand Year Voyage, I think they're going to have more to work with. I think Hild actually had a pretty good arc for Thousand Year Voyage. I'm actually kind of impressed, because I thought she was done, and then she wasn't, and then she was actually used quite well for the thematic point, because she was just like an embodiment of this anxiety that things are going to go wrong, and if violence is inevitable, I have to act, right? And I think Thorfinn does kind of take the wind out of her sails a bit, but that's kind of the point. Like, he shows her that there's another way, and she comes to she feels relieved by that, and she's willing to try with him. And I think that last conversation they have is just really good. Not last, but at the end of 210. That is like the real end of Hild's character arc. Because, yes, she forgave Thorfinn before, but, like, that moment right there is, like, these are the fruits of your labor. This woman understands you, cares for you, and believes in you because of all the work you did. Because you were so just like so you to the point where you never wavered. I think that's just really beautiful. Like, to me, it almost sticks with me more than the actual forgiveness, because the forgiveness is like, yeah, of course that was going to happen, but her calling him like a flower garden of a guy, that is something Thorfinn really had to earn. Just everything she said to him. So I think Hild didn't end up having as much focus as I thought she was going to once she started taking action, but she still really got a pretty good amount. I think pretty solid overall. I'm glad the baby doesn't look ugly anymore. That is a really cute baby. And this is such a brilliant, like, final panel for Thorfinn. I love it. Like, he really, like, this is, because obviously there's a lot that this story is about, but it is primarily focused on the growth of Thorfinn. And that growth is pretty much centered around the eventual Vinland expedition, but in terms of the overall goal of having Thorfinn mature into a kind man, like, this is kind of the bookend to that. He has kind of completed a journey. I really, really love that this story covers so much of one person's life over such a long time. It really is kind of beautiful. It really is beautiful. My one question for this panel, though, well, has not really to do with this panel. Just in general. What was the point of the dog? Of Carly's mama. I love this dog. But I really thought, like, the dog was gonna get a moment. You know? I wonder what the intent was. What the plan was, I guess. Well, not the plan. Not everything has to have some big, like, purpose in the grand design, I guess. I guess he just wanted Thorfinn to really feel like he had a family unit. So that's good. The dog didn't need, like, a character arc. Man, I just think about Dogland Saga, where we kind of had a little chapter where it was mostly comedy, but in the end we kind of got a emotional moment in the dog's head. And I actually kind of loved that, and I wish she got a little bit more of that. But it's such a nitpick. It's such a nitpick. The point of the dog is that Yukimura wanted Thorfinn to have a full traditional family. Don't you think the characters are too happy considering Anar died literally in the previous chapter? I agree. That is another nitpick I have. It does almost feel like Anar died and everyone's like, damn. And like, I don't know. Maybe there was more time like spent in Vinland, like leading to the end, than was implied. You know, like maybe the time between Anar getting stabbed and when Anar eventually died, well, when Anar was buried, maybe those were a bit farther apart. But yeah, I do think he kind of is past Anar a little too much. I do agree with that. The dog was supposed to break the sword. Exactly. Yukimura literally promised that. He promised specifically that in his volume notes. He said, "Look out, Carly's mama is gonna break Ivar's sword." They it does kind of bother me a little bit to feel like Anar has been kind of passed by. True, he has recovered quite a bit. Man, Bug Eyes, come on, bro. Come on. Alright, well, this is peak. This is peak. See, I was thinking about this as I was rereading, right? I started this arc. I made that video. I made the How Vinland Sagas Will End video. And in that video, I acknowledged that we had this point being made about marching towards inevitable failure. And still, even if it looks like things won't go well, you know, you keep going. And you don't let that stop you. And I do love that. But, and I think I made really good points in that video, but I was also very pessimistic, because these final panels here, this is a success. This isn't failure. It is kind of beautiful that, again, the story managed to turn this around in a way where I don't feel like things failed. Even though they didn't exactly go well and things went wrong, the expedition, the experiment, had success in it. And I think that's what this arc is about. It leverages the fact that you know, because of history, this is not going to end well, so then you assume, okay, well, this is going to end the worst. Just like Misek Pukwe, just like how he saw the vision, and he spent the whole arc expecting the worst. And we thought we knew better than him, but even still, we were expecting the worst too. I think that's what puts the Vinland arc solidly over the top of Farm arc for me, because it has this really solid meta idea going on that I feel like really worked on me. Do we see what exactly happens to Ivar in the end after he loses his arm? Or are we forgetting? He died later. Remember in the when they were attacking the fort? I believe it's 2:15. Nope, 14. Yeah, he says goodbye to Sturk and he charges in. This is an incredible moment. See, think about how many good moments are in this volume. It's actually spectacular. You start with 210. You have this panel. You have Flower Garden of a guy like you. You weren't wrong about anything. Then you have, what's 211? 211. Anar dropping down the statue. I will fight. 212. Pretty much, this brings up the no choice. Like, no choice was a thing that was being brought up a lot. Like, I noticed that going back through the whole story, the kind of I have no choice sentiment is a kind of through line through the whole story. And this chapter kind of really talks about it. And then you have did Anar, oh no, I guess it's next chapter that Anar takes the arrow to his head. But Paul, look here. That's the banger of this chapter. Maybe it's in your nature to only look at the bad things. Polmuk is goated. Love that. This chapter, lots of good moments. I mean, this one's really good, of course. This is good. This one was just solid. This one was just solid. The prisoner. These are all great. This is just kind of a state of warfare chapter. And I love the conversation on the wall between Anar and Bug Eyes. I think that's really great. And then you have Ivar's death. Brilliant. Anar, first kill. Brilliant. 216. Come on. You have just this. You have Voyage of 1,000 Years. Come on. No enemies moment. Okay, no, this is peak. This is... I still don't really care for this. 17. Lifting the statue back up. Well, not the statue. Lifting the cenotaph back up. Together. Norse and Olnu together. Peak. Then this little debate. Setting up your anticipation. And then everything climaxes here. Empathizing with Anar. And him locking in and choosing a truce. Choosing peace. Sturk goes for it. Anar. Yeah, this volume is perfect. This volume is amazing to me. Again and again. Again and again, somewhere not here. Ah! Beautiful. It's beautiful. Yep, good ending. He nailed it. Besides, not to keep coming back to it, but man, it's worth it just for this page. It's worth it for this page. I cope. It's also a shame that Thorfinn doesn't think much about the consequences in chapter. Like, man, you literally lost a huge group of people, even though... So, yeah, I mean, Thorfinn's an optimistic guy. You know? The whole arc is about, you know, going forward, following your heart, and not assuming bad things are going to happen. If there are consequences, he will face them when they come. But I do still agree that it feels like we're a little past Anar. a little too fast. I didn't want them to be, like, kind of doomer this chapter about it, but, like, they are certainly able to smile quite quickly. I almost wish Anar didn't die. I don't know. It's good for the story. It's good for the story. Anar and Arne got reincarnated as the two rabbits at the end. Hold on, let me see these rabbits. You're right, that's them. He even has Anar's eyes. That chapter had you bawling, I assume you said. Not balding. Anar became rabbit. Smiling. Alright. So Palmuk. I love this, because this is success. This is success. The two cultures together. It's beautiful. I think this is beautiful. I would love to see like a manga just about Palmuk living his life. Because yeah, it is really nice that the arc is ending in a way where Anu and Norse are kind of one again. I love it so much. Just started the live, so I'm not the same moment as you, but we're still together. Take care. Take care, man. You're balding for the stress. This is not what I thought for the final page. I really thought we were going to get that 1,000-year jump forward, but I'm almost glad we didn't, because once again, Yukimura surprised me. He did something different from what I expected him to do. And I love when he does that. This whole arc, he has done things just I did not expect. I knew thematically the ideas he was going for. And I think in the terms of what was the ending about, I predicted that quite well. And I'm really proud of the how Vinland Saga will end video in that sense. But in terms of how the events go down and where it leaves us, completely different from what I anticipated, because I anticipated the worst. I knew that the point of the arc was to not anticipate the worst, and still I did it. And that's what makes this arc so good. That's like, it's so well written, where you could be so in tune with it, but it still is showing you something you didn't think you would see. Because when I made that ending video, I was almost a little bummed out that I felt like I knew what was going to happen. And there is a reason Yukimura is the one who wrote this story. Because just as the author, I think he's just on a different level from somebody simply interpreting his work. I wonder if the anime will treat Anar's death the way it handled Gardar. Honestly, I hope not. You really can't drag that one out. Anar's death, like, Gardar's death being kind of prolonged and sad is kind of the point, so they emphasize that, whereas Anar's being kind of fast and like just like fragile is kind of the point. So I wouldn't want them to take away from that. Do you think we'll get some extra pages? I don't think so. I kind of thought we might at first, but now I kind of don't. Just based on how this last chapter went, I kind of don't think that anymore. Just from talking about it more. Maybe we could. I do think they might add some extra stuff to the volume, just because 29 volume. I wonder what they're going to do for the English release, really, because we have half a volume. Well, we have one Japanese volume, which is half of an English one. So I guess, will book 15 just look pretty bad on my shelf? Or will book 15 have some bonus content to kind of um, give it that size? I do wonder what he'll do for that. But I mean, I'm also glad he's not writing the story around the English release or around like a nice volume count, because he could have dragged this on for another 8 chapters or so, or like 4 or 5 chapters. He could have dragged this on just to hit volume 30, because it's a clean number, and that means the English release will kind of line up with the even volume numbers. But no, this is where the arc was meant to end. This is where the story is meant to end, so we ended it. And I think that's all right. I'm starting to believe. Oh, hold on. Norso and New may not be together, but they're united in their hearts. Yes, exactly. But they are. They also are kind of together with Niska and Bug Eyes, but somewhere else. I'm starting to believe that Thorfinn giving them the wheat has triggered an alt scenario where the Native Americans perceive less violence from colonists later due to lower difference in technology. I mean, no. I mean, I don't. I think the story loses a lot of weight if you make it alternate history in any way. It's already like stretching history, but you can still kind of think maybe this fits history. But this solidly doesn't. Well, I mean, that solidly wouldn't. I guess more so meant if the anime will show Anar's mind while he's dying. Yeah, no, see, but that's what I feel like dragged Gardar's out. It was kind of this prolonged, sad thing, but Anar's is sad for how quick it is. How he thinks of Arnade and then he's just gone. He thinks Arnade would be disappointed in me, and then he's gone. Because that really solidly touches the tragedy that he truly does hate violence. And the tragedy that he used it. I'm glad he got to finish on his own terms. Yeah, I do not think there's any kind of like magazine editor publisher meddling here. This is the ending he wanted to have. I would like to see some bonus stuff, but it needs to solidly not be part of the story anymore. Like, I don't want him to add additional pages like AOT did. I think a bonus chapter, though, that could be okay. But anything that makes this not the final page of Vinland Saga, I think would be a shame. Well, it's not like it has no impact. It simply may not persist past Polnuk. I mean, what? The story is in like 1025, around then, about 1,000 years ago. Like, Europeans don't come back until almost 500 years later. Is it really that crazy that the practice of growing wheat will have been lost in that time? Does it mean Polnuk forgot? Does it mean Polnuk like died? It very well could have been carried on for a couple generations before some war or something happened. Yeah, exactly. This was 1,000 years ago, and the time from this to when um, European colonists come to North America again is like 500. 400, 400 to 500. It's there's no it doesn't have to mean anything about Pulmuk's future because we know Native Americans don't grow wheat. I do think it's possible we might see Snake or Miklegard as a like one shot later on. I do not think it's like part of the story at all. I also don't think it'll be worked into the anime. For Miklegard, I don't think that's going to be worked in. It doesn't fit the pacing. You'd have to restructure a lot to fit that in. I also think Yukimura is probably going to take quite a long break. But he has already said he has an idea for another manga. So, I don't know. Obviously, he deserves a long break, but I wonder how long he's going to give for himself. I also don't think this was the intended ending, in the sense that I feel Yukimura was getting tired about it for a while. No, I don't think so. I really don't think so. There is so much in this ending that has been thematically set up since the very beginning. There's just I don't see any way that this is not the ending he wanted to tell. Would have been cool to see Omar. Yeah. Yeah. Man, I love Vinland Saga's characters so much. Oh, I really do. God, I'm gonna have to do a review. Man, I want my last review to feel special. But it's not like super grand or anything. This chapter. And I don't know. I don't want to put too much into it and then end up like I don't know, making this video that is kind of like I don't want to bite off more than I can chew and then not finish it in good time. Oh yeah, I'll pull up the bingo board in a second. Thoughts on what happens to Hild after the ending? I think she will just like be a teacher slash hunter in like Iceland or something. And I think she's a lesbian. That's what I got for Hill. All right, I'm pulling up the bingo board. Alright, guys. Here is the bingo board. Alright. Let's go one by one, shall we? Chapter is named Frieder. Didn't happen. Actually, I think this really depended on the idea of the 1,000-year time skip with the cenotaph being an important part of the ending, but it wasn't. It wasn't. So I'm not sad this didn't happen because the chapter simply just did a different direction. Baby is not named Snorri. I'm giving myself this one because we technically don't know. We technically don't know. And it is factual that the baby was not named Snorri because the baby was not named at all. Thorfinn death scene post Vinland. So I really thought we might see the end of his life, and I'm okay with us not seeing it. Because again, the way it is so open-ended and hopeful despite history, it's kind of beautiful that it manages to achieve that feeling against what you know historically will come. And I think that's really a strong point. Gudrid character conclusion. Nope. 1,000 years in the time skip. No. 1,000-year future time skip. No, it's not happening. It's out here. I think this would have been thematically cool, but I also think it was predictable. And I don't think stories can't be predictable. It's satisfying when you have a strong gut feeling about something is going to happen, and then it does. But it took a different angle, and I'm okay with it. One last Askeladd or Thor's haunting could have been cool, but I also think, again, the fact that Thorfinn's his own man now didn't need to happen. Like, Thorfinn being his own man is kind of the point of his last panel with his family, so that wasn't really necessary. Canute parallel ending with Thorkel. Sad. Sad. Not needed. Would have been nice. 30 plus pages. We were so close. 28 pages. He almost hit it. If he just put 2 more pages of Bug Eyes talking about marrying a minor, we could have hit it. Bug Eyes beats the allegations. God fucking damn it. God fucking damn it. Kalki's plus sword resolution. So for me, what this meant was that we would get some kind of definitive end for him and him as it relates to the sword. And all we got a very open-ended resolution that was kind of more just a warning. And that's okay. It got mentioned, which is good. But I wouldn't call it a resolution. I think it was a intentional open-ended conclusion for it. So 50-50 on that one. Bug Eyes marries a minor, is this true? I mean, Niska's 16 or 17. Thorfinn victims appear one more time. I kind of would have liked it. Didn't need to happen. We kind of got it with we kind of got it already with what was that chapter? 216, I think. We kind of got it there, so didn't need to happen again. You know, they're at rest with Anar. But could have been cool. I don't know. Crazy cameo. Nothing. Not even an uncrazy cameo like Canute. No Siggy. No Snake. Sad. No Garm. Sad. Free space. It is, in fact, Thorfover. Siggy spotted. Sad. Oh yeah, I didn't really consider Siggy a crazy cameo because I figured we'd probably see Iceland again. But not even that. Post-Vinland consequences for failure. So, yeah, that's the biggest thing about this ending for me. That's so interesting. That we did not go past Vinland at all. There will be... honestly, it almost feels like this ending wants to invite you to think there must be consequences. But it's encouraging you to be hopeful that maybe he'll be alright. Maybe he'll get through it. But obviously, a lot of the settlers are not happy with Thorfinn, and they blame him. A lot of Halfdan, if he's even still alive, is going to want to collect. Cordelia, like, going back into slavery because she doesn't have Vinland anymore. But it feels like the ending wanted to feel open. I know, we are very delusional. Garm was beheaded. Yeah, he had a helmet on for the whole time. I like how he doesn't drop the sword. Yeah, I do like it too. I knew he wouldn't. There was no way he was giving it up. But I thought something more might happen there. Like, we would, if we did kind of do a look where everyone goes, kind of fast forward, I imagine we would see him eventually the sword does get lost. Because they can't replicate it. The sword is lost somehow. Gauki faces some kind of consequences for his power grab. Many people actually believe that the chapter is garbage because there is no canoe. I understand being disappointed in no canoe. I do understand that. Alright. Leaf is dead. I still think this is probably true. He was really on his way out when we last saw him. But maybe he's not. Maybe he's not. That's this whole ending wants to let you go. Maybe not. Maybe it's alright. Even if it seems likely, it's just something hopeful. For the characters, for you, for humanity. Grown up Carly, we didn't time skip, didn't happen. Final panel is Anar's grave. It isn't, but the angle that he went with this final panel, I will absolutely take it. And I think there's a lot more depth to this final panel than there really would have been. And it's maybe it's because I kind of thought of that final panel to death. So it doesn't feel as interesting to me because I imagined it. But this is a Yukimura final panel. For sure. No complaint on that one. Just different. New Thorfinn hair. We didn't jump forward. We didn't jump forward. So again, not for that. No enemies tier moment. So I'm 50-50 on this. To me, a no enemies tier moment is like a big page turn like this. I consider this fitting. It just doesn't have dialogue. I don't know if the no enemies tier moment in my head, it doesn't necessarily need to have dialogue. It's just single impactful page. And I think this really hit that for me. Plus, I mean, look how many boxes I checked. I need to have something. Hild is gay. I should have checked it either way, bro. I should have checked this one either way. I should have checked it. Because it's true. Cracked double page spread or color page. I'm actually really bummed out we didn't get a color page. And I hope that does happen in the volume release. We did kind of get a double page here, but it's not a full spread, and I don't think it's cracked. I don't think it hits that. Okay, listen, the words Vinland Saga are spoken. We were so close. In this narration, they mentioned the saga of the Greenlanders. We were actually kind of close on this one. It wouldn't have been a character saying it, but I think I would have taken the narration saying it. I would have taken that. Return of comedy, I think Like Niska Stowaway's kind of comedy. I mostly think of this silly panel of him swatting the birds away. That's comedy. That's comedy. I can't believe Return of Comedy came through clutch. I'm actually shocked. And then again, last one, Old Thorfinn telling the story. Again, so much of this assumes some kind of time jump, but it just didn't happen that way. So, I did not get a bingo. Not even close. I have like the most anti-bingo of all time. Like, if we got Askeladd or Thor's haunting, I would have had the greatest anti-bingo. Every single point is in a row or column that could not have possibly aligned with another for a bingo. There's only one for like every possible line except this one. I didn't even get the like semblance of a line. That is so funny. It's incredibly open-ended as it leaves a lot of questions, but it still feels like a proper conclusion. Exactly. I think it does. I actually really love this chapter. I'm really glad I streamed, because I needed some time to think and talk about it before I started writing. Do you think we're getting a Season 3 announcement anytime soon? Maybe with the volume release, because Yukimura said Volume 29 is coming in September. So, maybe, hopefully. I predict it's not really over. We might get a new manga about Thorfinn's son. Yukimura said that his goal... Well, that his next manga, he wants to write about... he wants to write about the future again. He doesn't want to write about the past anymore. He wants to go back to writing about the future. I mean, his first published manga was like science fiction. So either he'll go back to like a far future sci-fi, or maybe he'll write a modern. I really do hope he writes a modern day, mundane life manga. I would love to see some good slice of life from Yukimura, because he knows how to nail slice of life, and he's always written about such grand things, and I really love. I don't know, these grand stories that have moments of mundanity that really stick with me, and I really love the mundanity. So I hope he writes about that. It's gonna be a science fiction manga. It most likely will. But I don't know. I feel like with his manga, he writes these really big, dramatic, fantastical stories that are still grounded and feel like they could be real, even though they really push the bounds of reality. And you always have to extrapolate these fantastic things onto real life and your normal day-to-day life. So I really like to see him write about normal day-to-day life, because I feel like that's kind of the final piece. Because Planetest is this like future sci-fi, Vinland Saga is historical fiction. I'd like to see him write about something that feels like it could happen to me, you know? I am going to miss the Viking setting. It's so strange. I never liked Vikings, and I think I still don't really care for Vikings. But what Yukimura really sold me on is the admiration for the average person living 1,000 years ago. Not these like warriors, not the like kind of pop culture Viking, but like just a guy. I think that's great. So God, Vinland Saga's over, man. I'm so sad. I could probably finish my... I think I can write the review tonight, maybe record tonight if I write fast enough. I'll probably have to end the stream relatively soon, because I need to get on that. Yes, I do love the historical accuracy in the clothes. When I see historians talk about Vinland Saga, that seems to be one they really appreciate. It is kind of technically not over. It is really a new beginning. And just because it's over doesn't mean I'm going to be over it. But it does kind of beg the question of what do I do next? What do I do? All I've done on this channel is talk about Yukimura's work. So obviously, I'm going to cover whatever he does next, of course. But he's going to probably take a pretty extensive break, and Vinland Saga is done. I don't know what I'm going to talk about anymore. I don't want to just, like, stop doing YouTube. I could talk about other manga, but I can't think of a manga that I can really talk about the way I talk about Vinland Saga. You know? The way I talk about Vinland Saga is I feel like I'm not bullshitting. I feel like I really do have something to say when I say something. But now I don't know. I read quite a few manga. I read Berserk. I read JoJo when it comes to like your seinen. So maybe, I don't know. I could start talking about JoJo, and I did want to talk about JoJo eventually. But I was waiting for JoJo Lands to be in a place where I feel like I have a lot to say, and it's not there. I don't think it's there yet. And with Vinland Saga, what's so special about Vinland Saga and the way Yukimura writes, every single chapter has so much substance. There's never a single chapter that's kind of like filler. Not filler. There's like, I think about reading JoJo or reading pretty much any other manga, and I could think of so many chapters where, oh, this chapter is just some setup. Oh, this chapter is just a fight continuing. Every single chapter of Vinland Saga has some kind of cohesive point to it, and is a very solid, self-contained idea in of itself. So I can always like find something to say, something significant, and no other manga works like that for me. Berserk, I love Berserk, but I am not a super fan of Berserk. I have general ideas of where it's going, but I feel like I don't have enough of the pieces. Like, I'm not keeping track of enough pieces in my head with that story to really say something noteworthy. And then for JoJo, some months are just more fighting. And I think that's fun to read, but I don't have much to say about it, which is unfortunate. Vinland Saga, I always had something to say. And that's why I started doing videos, because I needed to speak. But, yeah, I could talk about other manga. I probably will. I'm going to think on what I want to talk about next. Move on, like Askeladd said, yeah. Do you ever think what? Do you ever think about what you're going to do after I'm gone? Sad. I should totally write fanfiction, man. I love writing about Vinland Saga, and I think that is the, like, writing fanfiction might be the outlet for me. Because I love writing my notes for my videos, because it really does feel like I'm almost, like, turning the story into purely writing, you know? It almost feels like my videos are adapting the story in a way. As much as I am reviewing it, I'm also putting into words what pages are trying to say. Yeah. Yes, I have, I think 5 videos of me and Jarky Bacon talking about Planet Tests from a blind read-through. You know what I do have left? There is the bonus manga in the first few volumes of Vinland Saga. The samurai one. I could do that. I should do that. I do need to do that. I have actually been saving that one for when Vinland Saga ends. Read Golden Kamui? I did. I love Golden Kamui. Golden Kamui is so good. If it was ongoing, I think that is one I would talk about and do videos on. It's a shame it's over. Just keep talking about Vinland Saga. I do need to. I have to, besides my last review video, I do think I have to do additional Vinland videos. I definitely, now that it is a complete work, I can really just analyze without predicting, and I think there's an opportunity there. Read Yuri. Should I just become a Yuri channel? That'd be awesome. Oh my god. I would completely change the way I read, like, the way I do dialogue. Because right now, like, this isn't how I normally talk. This is, like, my YouTube voice. At least, I don't know. It was how I kind of talked before. Now it kind of isn't. But when I'm doing YouTube stuff, I feel like I want to keep a consistent tone and manner of speaking. But if I became a Yuri channel, shit, that would be different. That would be different. Suggest you check out Orb. Again, I have also, I watched Orb, and I adore Orb. If that was ongoing, that would have been the next manga for me. If that was ongoing, I would have picked that up for reviews 100%. Doesn't have to be in-depth, can just be your general thoughts. Yeah, I know. I make videos because I feel like I have a depth of thoughts to go through. Like, with Vinland Saga, it really feels like the words are bursting out of me. Like, I have to talk about it. If your videos are just Vinland Saga fanfic, I'd be sad. Yeah, you know, I really do want to try it. I do want to try it, because sometimes when I'm writing my lines for videos, I don't write a script. I write notes and follow those notes, and then kind of talk about them off the cuff. But there are some times where I write a line, and I'm like, that is so good, I'm going to read exactly that line. Yes, writing comforts me. It's like seeing work from a different perspective and making several endings in mind. Yeah, I do love it. Might as well get started on Kingdom. You know what? That's not a bad idea. I'm only thinking right now about manga I am currently reading that I would like to talk about. But maybe I should just kind of taste test a couple things and then let it naturally come to me, like Vinland Saga naturally came to me. Thoughts on Donkey Kong? I just finished Donkey Kong last night. I, like, just spent almost the entire day playing that game because I was just waiting for the chapter to be ready. That game is so good. That game's so good. The Climber is on my list. That one is going to get checked out at some point, 100%. Now that Vinland's over, maybe I will. What I want to find, and I feel like for manga, it really is few and far between right now. What I want to find is a monthly manga that has a lot of thematic resonance that I can talk about, like, every single chapter in depth. And that's what makes Vinland Saga so special to me. That's what makes these chapters so good. I can't think of another manga that really... Like, I could think of some manga that hit some really good peaks that like, stand up to Vinland Saga for me. But in terms of just consistent loving each chapter, Vinland Saga is the most consistent thing I've ever read. Ashton no Joe, yep, that's on my list. Ugh, I have a lot. You know what? If it came out more frequently, I would love to talk about, what's it called? Oh my god, why can't I remember? I think it's Katabami to Ogun? Yeah, this. Why did I put my history? I love this manga. I love this manga so much. Dude, why is it searching my history when I'm trying to just Google search it? Whatever. Hold on. Let me pull that up. Maybe here. Oh, you know what? It's because I was going to resume browsing. That's the problem. Okay. This, I adore... No, open image in new tab, please. Okay. This... Damn it. I want this tab. Okay. This manga. It's obscure. It's a bit obscure. But I love it. It was recommended by Yukimura, so I checked it out. It's technically done. But the English translation is really far behind. So I would totally talk about this. If not for the fact that the chapters do not get translated very frequently. The translation team is quite good, but it's a very niche manga, so it doesn't really have that motion and momentum behind it. But I love it. It's about two Irish immigrants who come to America during the gold rush, and their goal is to travel across the country to get to California. Well, I guess it's technically, I think it's Oregon. It was either, I think it is California. They're trying to get to the West Coast to find gold and strike it rich. And I love this manga. It is so good. It's a little silly, but in that, like, Vinland Saga, Golden Kamui kind of way, where it can be very lighthearted, but also very grounded, and kind of jumps back and forth. I highly recommend this manga. I'm going to put the name in the chat. Love this manga. So if there was any manga I would take up right now, it'd probably be that. But again, I don't know. It would be very infrequent uploads, and it's not ongoing. It's kind of ongoing for English readers, but nobody really knows about it. So it's kind of I need to find a monthly a monthly manga to really get behind. Because I love the monthly cadence. If I had to, I couldn't keep up with weekly manga. I think if I followed a weekly manga and did YouTube for weekly manga, I would only do live streams, probably. I probably would not write and record and score it like I try to do with the Vinland videos. I think I would just do live streams like this. Which is fine, maybe. Maybe that's okay. Chojin X. I've been hearing about it. I could check it out. How long has that been ongoing? I just had, like, a brain blast of seeing this final panel animated. You know they're going to go really hard on the motion of the hand coming down. It's going to be so smooth. Like, you know that scene in Season 2 where Thorfinn kind of folds his hands together, and you're just like, wow, they really animated those hands. They're totally going to do that here. I'm excited. 60 chapters, some chapters like 40 pages. Damn. Bi-weekly 40 pages? My goodness. You know what else? What other manga I read kind of hits a very similar, every chapter has something. It's, well, Hunter x Hunter. But Hunter x Hunter is, like, so on and off. But also Kagurabachi is really good right now. Kagurabachi is really, really good. But there's not much to talk about. You know? I don't make videos gushing about Vinland's art and action. For Kagurabachi, that is a series you read for the art and the action. There are good moments. Like there's actually pretty good writing. I actually really liked the most recent arc. But it is not a story you really analyzed for a long time. You don't make 20 to 30 minute videos analyzing the chapter. You just kind of enjoy reading it because it's a very well-directed manga. Hello, Mir fans are here. Yes, Jarky Bacon, my friend. Man, that reminds me. I am so happy I met so many amazing people through this manga. So many genuine, sincere friends through this manga. Especially Jarky Bacon. Not to put you above other people, but you're just like kind of encapsulate that for me of thinking how special it is. This manga about sincerity and love and connection, and it has given me that with people around the world. That is spectacular. It's just so beautiful. And in the same vein, all the people who come back to my videos every month, assuming no hiatus. All these people who come back to my videos just to hear me talk. I don't put a lot into my videos. I don't put a lot of, like, production into it. It really is the bare minimum editing and putting my heart out there. And there's so many people that resonate with it. And that is amazing to me. I'm just so thankful. You read One Piece. I do. Look, okay, One Piece. Again, that's another story where sometimes there's a chapter where I really just don't have much to say. But recently, One Piece has actually been quite good every week. like one weekly One Piece during like Wano when I caught up, low key miserable. But everything post Wano, weekly One Piece has been incredibly good. I love my moods too. I absolutely do. One Piece is really, really good, and I would never give up on One Piece, I think. I think it is a very good story with a lot of good characters. That's going to be a very interesting one to see end. It still has a few more years to it probably, but that is there, I am sure people are going to not like the One Piece ending because there's just it is a lot like Attack on Titan in the sense that it is a crazy story where a lot of things happen and it really could go anywhere and everyone's going to have different expectations. Vinland Saga is so relatively simple. It doesn't have a massive cast of characters it needs to focus on. It doesn't have like any convoluted like I don't know. It doesn't have any like really complicated things going on in it. It's deep and complex in the writing, but not in the circumstances. I think that's the best way to put it. One Piece is complex in the circumstances and a lot of the ways that AOT is, but AOT definitely bit off more than it could chew, and I think that was a big part of why people didn't like the ending, because their expectations were through the roof. Your videos really help me understand the story better and better appreciate aspects of it. I like how you're very in-depth with the reviews. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I feel very similarly, where doing these videos has helped me understand the story better, and I'm really glad I did it. I wish I could have. I wish I had the inspiration to start earlier, and do videos from like when. I don't know, just earlier on, I guess. Like, I just wish I got to this story sooner. But that being said, doing these reviews really allowed me to take this story in with so much intent, and it pays off. And I'm glad other people can kind of take that too. You know, like I can borrow that from me. 3 to 4 more years till One Piece ends? Probably. That's probably about right. Would you play if Vinland Saga was a video game? I've thought about this a lot. Because I've always... I am like a software engineer. I've always wanted to do video games. And I have thought a lot about if I were to make a Vinland Saga game, what would I do? I would probably do... Because like you could go the full on like... focus on the piece of it and do like a kind of settlement builder, or you could go a little bit, you could do something more focused just on the prologue or something like that. I mean, low-key, Eastern Expedition would be pretty good for a Muso game. Low-key. Either way, if they ever did anything Vinland Saga, I would play. You know what that reminds me of? For April Fools, the anime team made a Vinland Saga fighting game, like, fake teaser. Have you seen that? It makes me so upset that it's not real. Hold on. Let me pull this up. I have to find it. No, it's hard to find. No. I gotta find this. One second, one second. I can think of one more place to look. Alright. Never mind. I don't know how to find it. They basically made a little, it was a little joke, mimicking Street Fighter, Third Strike. It was so good. Hold on, I want to find it. Let me try one more time. Cause like, oh. Yes, here we go, here we go. It was by the Season 1 staff. This is so funny. Hold on, let me pause the music. This is peak. Hold on. I gotta get chat back open. Alright, watch this, watch this, watch this. It's so funny that no one's seen this before. Well, not everyone. Like, the audacity. Like, come on. This is literally the Third Strike character select screen. You got Hafton in here. You got Ilva in here. You got Ear? They got Ear in this? Thorfover versus Leif Erikson, baby. What, is this your season pass or something? Thorfinn looks terrible. Like, why isn't it real? She's... Dude! Dude, Ilva just Evo moment 37 him, bro. She just did the Daigo parry. Look. I don't know who of you is big on fighting games. I love fighting games. She does the Daigo parry, bro! Oh, it's peak. I know, isn't it so ironic? Isn't it so ironic? Like this celebration of fighting. It's so funny. Oh, it's so peak. She really hits him with this. Oh my god. I love that so much. That's so funny. Okay, you know what? You know what? While we're on YouTube. Hold on. I think to this day, my favorite Vinland Saga teaser for the anime is the very first one. The one that has, like, basically nothing new in it. Something about this just hits. Something about this just hits. Anar should have perfect pairing, so true. Like the music, like this is all season 1 clips, but I love this. Like this just captures like the scale so well. God, I love Vinland Saga. I love Vinland Saga. I remember this video dropped while I was on a bus on my way to work, and I was crying on the bus. If you ever watched Better Call Saul, you know the part where Kim Wexler cries on the bus? That was literally me. You can quote me on that, Ari. You can quote me on that. It's peak. It's peak. I need Season 3 teaser right now. Oh, Ryan, I missed your message. Wish more characters that were set up got more payoff, but the core themes were told perfectly. I totally agree. Again, everything that I wish happened would have just been like, it would have been nice. This feels very complete to me. Time to become a Kagurabachi YouTuber. I was talking about it before. I think Kagurabachi is really good every single chapter, but I don't have much to say. Like, that wouldn't be one where I talk about the themes and the writing, like I talk about Vinland Saga. That would be one where I focus more on, like, the direction and paneling, probably. And I just don't think I'm the best person to deliver that kind of thought. Kagurabachi's one, I think I like to enjoy it, you know? This last panel rocks, man. I love this last panel so much. Alright, I want to talk about, what's your favorite chapter in this volume? From 210 to 220. 210, I kind of went through the whole volume earlier, but 210 is really, really good. This whole moment is just, and then into this, that's so solid. This is probably the weakest chapter of the volume, just because it's a setup chapter. Though, I mean, this moment for Anar is good. This moment for Anar is good, but this is just taste of what's to come, really. So 211 is probably the weakest to me. 212, they have no choice. I didn't really care for this one much at first, but looking back, I think this is actually thematically a really important chapter. So I think I've come to like this chapter a lot more the more I think about it, and the more I think about the direction the story has gone for the ending. .213, this is another, like, solid one. I mean, this Anar moment's awesome. But this chapter, it's just kind of the war progressing. It's a good chapter, but it's just the war progressing. Definitely not a top contender. 215, man. Oh, wait. I accidentally skipped 214. Okay. This is when you get into the non-stop bangers, right? So, 210 is a banger. 211 to 213 is kind of like just gearing things up. But 214 onwards is non-stop banger. Oh yeah, real quick, yes, Joe, I did do the bingo board. It is a total failure. It's a absolute total failure. I didn't have a single possible, like, not even two towards a bingo. It is the least like bingo possible. It went terribly. But okay, 214, Ivar death. Actually, so brilliant for these two characters, Sturk and Ivar. This is phenomenal. This is because to me, what Ivar's character is about is how we've come to expect for characters like Omar and Sigurd, characters that immaturely admire war. They come to find that the reality is not what they wanted, and Ivar's like the bad case for this, because he stays ignorant the whole time. Even in his final moments, he is smiling. He's calling himself a true warrior, despite, obviously, he thinks of his brothers. He thinks of the peaceful times. That gap in his like what he says he values and what he thinks he values versus what's on his mind in the final moments, it is beautiful. I think Ivar is, again, he's kind of like, he's like the more realistic case. He's just an ignorant guy who stays ignorant the whole time. Brilliant. Then, Anar taking his first life. Incredible. This is incredible. I think, though, in hindsight, I think I prefer the chapters focused on Anar after this moment, because I think those are where the writing really shines. But this is good. 216 has grown on me. There's things I like about it and things I don't. I feel like the Misek part kind of doesn't really hit for me, but I think the handshake at the end kind of really does hit. People love this one, man. And I think people see I have no enemies and they're like, yay, he said the thing, which is good. People really love this chapter, and it's just not my thing. But it is still solid. Still solid. 217. This one is good. I quite like this chapter. Doesn't have a single big moment, but I do think this is great. The way he says serves you right, it just implies to me that there is some history. Like, yeah, Silky, like you're saying, like there's some beef here. And what this, again, kind of, I feel like doubles down on is the fact that this war really has nothing to do with the Norse and the new coexisting. This war is a feud between tribes that they've gotten sucked into. And I'd be so curious to know, like, is it just that he doesn't like Muin's leadership? Is it just that he feels like he's a better fit, like he should be the one in power? Or has he been personally slighted by Muin in some way? I'm so curious. I think I love that Hild and Pulmuk help him pick this up. I think that's beautiful. The fact that, I mean, I said it again in my review, that you have these, like, two bonds that represent Thorfinn's, like, efforts. Like, Hild is a person who hated him, who came to forgive him, and then came to understand him. And Pulmuk is the representation of all the effort he took to cultivate their relationship with the Ilnu, and to have Norse and Ilnu together lifting the monument to peace is perfect. This is like the perfect setup to the final chapter. The final chapter just doubles down on the beauty of this part, and that's great. Then this debate with Sturk is quite good. True victory is not killing all your enemies, it's making peace with them. Very good. But again, this chapter is really about setting up for this. Setting up for Anar to come down, so you are thinking, oh god, what is going to happen? So, 218, man. This is an incredible chapter. Anar declaring a truce was the biggest possible twist for me. Because I was expecting the worst. I saw a bad future, and I assumed it had to come to pass. But it didn't. Anar made a choice. It's beautiful. And no, he won't let it go to war again. He didn't just, because what this shows, right? He didn't just decide on the truce as kind of like, it wasn't like begrudgingly deciding, okay, he means it. He believes it with all his heart. And he acted on it. This is such a good conclusion for Stark, too. Again, like I mentioned, he's always been so careful and manipulative. And now he's just like an animal. And God, what a brutal panel. With the black of Gaki's cloak, it is just so, it looks so explosive. It looks like literally just a fountain of blood. Oh man. The inking here is just so crazy. And then Vargar clutching it out? Again, I love how this whole chapter is everybody just like, everybody fighting for peace. It shows like, peace is, it manages to maintain peace and the truce without making it feel easy. Like, it feels like they really had to fight for this. The little Hez, funny. Yeah, I feel like this is going to really break me when it gets animated. Just hearing this page voice is going to mess me up, knowing that these are his last words. Oh, you know what? It has been a few days since Anar died. From the point Anar died to the point he was buried, it has been a few days. Because it takes, I think 2 days to sail to the evacuation island, if I remember correctly. Or it might be 2-day round trip. So it has at least been a day. So it wasn't like they immediately took Anar and buried him. So there was some time to, like, mourn and wake up and try to take on the future. It is. You know what's so beautiful about seeing Arnett again like this? It's because, like, I don't know, she's not that statue. That statue does represent her, but it isn't her. I'm glad we got to see her again. But, God, it is so haunting to me to think Anar's, like, last words His final moment is him thinking she would be disappointed in him. That is so tragic and heartbreaking to me. It is shocking to me though. Like, I think about how multiple deaths have shaped Thorfinn. Like Thor's, he went on a just almost 8 years of spiraling, and then Askeladd just left him broken for years. But he's kind of processed Anar quite well. Like, he's obviously heartbroken, but he does get past it a little too easily, I feel. I do wish... I love the final page. I do just wish the cenotaph kind of got shown one more time. Kind of like the panel of the ship sailing away while Arneid's grave is on, the cliff side. I would have liked something like that for Anar, just so he can be part of the last chapter. But still, this chapter really, this chapter was good, but it's this chapter this is Anar's chapter, and it's beautiful. This page, oh man, is it my favorite page in the manga? Because it might be. I think, let me just be clear, I think 219 is my favorite chapter in the volume. I'd say 219 is my favorite, then probably 210. I think 219, 210, then I toss up between 220 and 215, probably. I do love Polmuk as a final page because I didn't see it coming, and it's beautiful. God, the look on his face here. Oh, and the look on his face here. Yeah, I think 219 is my favorite chapter in the volume, and possibly my favorite chapter in the whole story. Like, this is exactly the end of Vinland Saga that I wanted. And I really do love how 220 bookends this. But I don't think 220 beats 219 for me. At least not right now. Ugh, again and again. I don't know, man. Like, this chapter loves Anar. I do wish Thorfinn, I don't know how I would want Thorfinn to act in this moment, to be honest. But I do really, really love how this moment wraps back around, and it just empathizes with Anar in a way that nobody was doing. Because everyone here knows what it was like waiting for chapter, what was it? 218. Everybody talking about how Anar disagrees with Thorfinn. Anar is going to debate Thorfinn. Anar is lost to the violence. People were mad at Anar. People were making it Team Thorfinn, Team Anar. people were making Anar Thorfinn's enemy. Not like enemy in a like violent sense, but they preemptively made Anar Thorfinn's ideological enemy. And the fact that the story invoked that feeling in people, and even myself, I felt this empathy for Anar too. I didn't understand it as well as I feel like I do after 219. But like, because I was never mad at Anar for these choices. I felt bad for him. I knew he felt desperate. But I did not like how a lot of people were mad at Anar, saying that he like failed Thorfinn, or that he like, I don't know, because like, I think you just have to empathize with Anar if you're going to understand the story in full. If you don't empathize with him, you're kind of failing something, and that's what Thorfinn's realizing here. That because at the beginning of the arc, he felt that if somebody hated war, like chose a war they hate, then that is a kind of person that's dangerous and shouldn't be in Vinland. But that is what Anar was. His options dwindled, and Thorfinn didn't lend him that understanding until the end, when he saw his face, and Anar showed just how much he hates war and violence. I think 219 is genius. I think my only complaint with this moment is that I recognize these Thorfinn character art panels. They've been used multiple times before. There's something about like reused character art over a blank white panel that just does not hit for me. I wonder if Yukimura feels the same way. I wonder if he feels like this is a concession he has to make for the sake of getting the chapter out in time and meeting deadlines. I don't know. What a good final page, though. I know, I remember when I got to this page, when I was first reading this chapter, I was like, oh my god, Vinland Saga is about to end. I didn't think it would end in literally one chapter, but I was like, oh, okay, Vinland Saga is ending. Yes, it is from him declaring to leave Vinland. Yup. When he says, so be it. Yeah, I feel like you have to be. And, like, there was a lot of reused art in chapter 216 as well, with the conversation with Miss Hakapoe, and that's probably why I felt I didn't quite like it as much as other people do. Because I feel like to complain about the art reuse like that, you really have to, like, you have to be a big-time Vinland reader. You know, you have to be somebody who's, like, who's going over these chapters over and over again, like me. And not every fan is like that. So I imagine it's probably not that noticeable if you are reading just from a more casual perspective. Oh no, I wouldn't say that makes you any less of a fan. It's more like you're just not reading into every page so closely. I don't know how to put it. I don't quite know how to put it. Because I don't mean to detract from fans like that. Okay, you know what? I do actually like this chapter a lot. I was more mixed on it before we started the stream, but I think I'm pretty good on it. It's just the bug eyes thing. It's just the bug eyes thing that sours it. God, the Polmic stuff is good. Handshake. Come on, that's so good. This. I love that. I like this page. That it just leads into this. I do think the analyzing ultimately made it better for me. I totally agree. I think people who binge read this are going to feel a bit... I don't know. I think if you binge read this, you won't have a lot of you won't have a lot of the experience of anticipation and anxiety that monthly readers felt. I feel like this is an arc where it was actually really important to be reading it monthly instead of binging. Like, binging Baltic is great. Binging this, I feel like you missed something. And I feel like it's actually really important that you take this arc slow and you think about what's going to happen next rather than just going to the next chapter. Because if you don't take the time to think about it, you're not really going to experience the kind of dread the same way. So, and I feel like that experience of anticipating something and spending a lot of time kind of expecting it and then it doesn't happen, I think that's like that feels rewarding thematically. But if I was just binge reading, right, and Hild started saying she's going to kill people, and then what, 2 or 3 chapters later she's like done, like, that's gonna go by so fast, and you won't have time to be like, oh my god, Hild's about to make the biggest mistake ever, and you spend 2 months of your life waiting for her to pull the trigger and start the war by accident. You know? I feel like that kind of thing is so integral to taking the arc as intended. So I am very curious to see how people binging this arc and watching the anime will at least give you like the time between episodes to think about this stuff, which is good. But like, again, if you're watching the full season that's already out, or you're reading the full volume that's already out, will you get the same feeling? I don't really know. Yeah, I do hope they find their own enjoyment, because again, I don't think this arc is really big on spectacle or anything like that. It has some good moments like that, but like, nothing in this arc hits the spectacle of like Askeladd beheading the king. You know? It just doesn't quite get to that level, because it's doing something else. And like, because Askeladd beheading the king is like, it is an incredible moment because you anticipated it and it paid off. Whereas this whole arc is about anticipating something and then it doesn't happen because something there, it's possible for there to be better. I don't know. I'm glad Cordelia's okay. And look how sincere Hild looks. Look how sincere she looks. Like, aw. Like, I'm so happy Hild is happy. You know? Like, old Hild would have hit them with an ellipses here. I'm so happy she lived. I wish she had the headband off, though. I think it would have been nice to see the no headband look one more time. Because to me, that represented a Hild that was content to living peacefully. That felt like she didn't need to be the hunter anymore to feel safe. It would have been kind of nice to see her take it off again. I'm also glad that the Norsemen that did leave, they're happy, you know? They're not like all just mad at Thorfinn here. They have a good, they have a friend in the Ilnu with Niska. I think that's great. And I love this page. I love this Niska panel. This is the best Niska panel, I think. This is so sweet. I wonder what the... I gotta check out the Saga of the Greenlanders. I have a book. I've been kind of holding off on it until I finish the story. Not for like spoiler stuff, just because I wanted to kind of have the full story and context before I go and read the historical accounts. But Voyage 6, I kind of low-key don't know anything about it. But I do really love how this chapter ties back into the history. Because it is important to acknowledge that this is history. This is actual history. And again, what I love about this is it shows you why Yukimura wrote about this. Because he heard about this expedition, about how a trader went to settle North America, and he thought why, and this was the answer he came to. I think that's just beautiful. Man, even this could have been the last panel. This whole sequence is so good. God, this is the last time I'm going to see Thorfinn in my life. This is the last Thorfinn. God, he's so happy. God, look at the hands. Yeah, I really love this page. It's silly. I'm so happy we could be silly. You know what's interesting? When I was thinking about how do we end the Ilnu character arcs, I was really thinking, like, you end the Ilnu first, and then you end Vinland Saga. I did not think the end of Vinland Saga would be so integrated with them. Like, if you told me you thought Polemuck would be the final panel, I would not have agreed. But it works so brilliantly. Like, I'm so happy they share the end together. That's like the whole point of this chapter. They share the ending, and it's beautiful. I love it. Okay, I've been streaming for 3 hours, 14 minutes, and 15 seconds at that very moment. I think it is time to wrap it up. Bro, you're looking at the final panel. Oh my god, go to comic.io. That's where it is. Oh my god. Don't look at the stream. Don't look at the stream. Why do so many people come in here? Oh my god. A shocking amount of people hop into the stream to ask me where to read, and I'm literally showing key panels. It's so bad. Okay. Alright. I think it is time to end. I'll let it go for a few, like another minute or two, in case anybody has some last thoughts. I'll read them out. What a journey, can't wait for the next chapter. So true. The next chapter is right now. It's happening in your life. Continue the saga. Amen. Again, before I go, I want to thank everyone. I'm obviously, when I do the review video, I'm going to reiterate this. But I really want to thank everyone who so consistently showed up for me. I think that is just an incredibly special thing that I did not possibly anticipate. I started doing videos because I just simply wanted to talk. I felt like I was really loving Vinland Saga at the time, and I just wanted to talk about it more. And I'm just so thankful that so many people were just drawn to what I was saying and to what I was feeling and what I wanted to convey. It is just this channel has been a success beyond my just any anticipation I had. So thank you everybody who shows up for those videos, shows up for these streams, and just, you know, calls out to me, you know, shows me that people are out there, people are listening. I think that is just so special. Okay, I'm gonna end it here. I will see you all soon for the final Vinland Saga chapter review. Bye everyone. Thank you.